Hola, bom dia. Welcome to our TCM class. Today, let's walk together through the history of TCM. Imagine a medical tradition is so ancient that it was already old when the Roman Empire was young. That's TCM for you. Our story began around 2,000 years ago. Huangdi Neijing, or the Yellow Empire's inner canon, which considered the foundation of TCM, was written and organized by a group of talented Chinese doctors. To make it easy for the people at that time to accept, they named after the book of a legendary figure known as Yellow Empire, while he might not be even a real person. This philosophical masterpiece viewed the human body as a miniature universe, constantly seeking for balance and harmony. But the Yellow Empire wasn't the only legendary figure that you have to know in the TCM history. Now let's talk about Shennong, the divine farmer. Legend has it that the Shennong had the transparent stomach and would taste 100 of herbs to test their medical properties. When he tastes a kind of white flowers with the young leaves of evergreen trees, it starts to go all around the stomach. It flows everywhere, as if it's checking the body. So he called these green leaves cha. In Chinese, means search. Later, people called cha into tea, which means the tea we often drink now. This leads to the creation of the first Chinese cornucopia, the Shennong Bencao Jing, around 200 common area. This book collects and summarizes the effects of Chinese medicine, the four qi: cold, heat, warmth, and coldness, the five flavors: pungent, sweet, sour, bitter, and salty, and lays the foundation of the theoretical system of Chinese medicine. All those two legendary figures might not seem to be true, but these books are named after them is not only real, but very important in TCM history. They built up the basis for the formation of the theoretical system of Chinese medicine. As centuries passed, TCM continues to evolve. During the Han Dynasty, a physician named Zhang Zhongjing wrote the Shanghan Lun. This book established the principle of pattern differentiation in TCM diagnosis, a concept still used today. Fast forward the Tang and Song dynasties, and we reach what many consider the golden age of TCM. It was during this time that acupuncture and masturbation was refined and systematized. Here is an interesting story. The discovery of acupuncture points is often attributed to some accident. Long time ago, as early as in the Neolithic age, it was noticed by our ancestors that pain and disease would be elevated or disappear when certain points on our body were touched by stones. So they began to use sharp stone chips to stimulate certain points to relieve the pain. At that time, there were no specialized kneading tools, so the sharpers and sharp instruments used for production were used to cure disease. Later, due to the advancement of stone tool making technology, there were specific sharps of medical stone used for acupuncture. Now, time comes to Ming Dynasty. Appears one of the most significant figures in TCM history, Li Shizhen. His book, 本草纲目, or Compendium of Materia Medica, took 27 years to complete. This massive work described over 1,800 drugs with 1,100 illustrations and 11,000 prescriptions. It's like an encyclopedia of TCM herbs. TCM didn't stay confined to China. It spread along the Silk Road, exchanged knowledge with other cultures. For instance, the Chinese herb Aphidia, traditionally used for asthma, eventually lead to development of ephedrine in Western medicine. In modern times, TCM have gained global recognition. In 2015, Tu Youyou won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for her discovery of artemisinin, an anti-malarial drug derived from sweet wormwood, a herb used in TCM for over 2,000 years. Today, TCM is practiced alongside modern medicine in many parts of the world. The World Health Organization have even recognized acupuncture as an effective treatment for various conditions. TCM is more than just ancient practice. It's a different way of understanding health and human body. Its emphasis on the prevention is more important than treatment, yin-yang balance, and how to apply holistic treatment. Until now, TCM continues to offer valuable insights to modern healthcare. In the next module, we will officially start to get into the different system inside of TCM. 那我们下节课见。